Hi, I'm Dave, and this is the second of these wacky videos that I thought I'd do about unboxing and having a flick through books that have come recently. Mostly because I haven't been using my YouTube channel very much. I thought it's about time I put something up, some content. Not that anybody really wants to stare at my gormless face. And I thought, what can I do? What can I do to put up on the videos? What are people actually interested in? And I thought, you know, two birds, one stone type thing. Not only could I address one of my big pet gripes, which is I really want to see what's inside the book before I buy it, and the other bird, so to speak, is that if I show off what's on the inside of a book or a box, you don't have to look at this mug. You can look at the nice pretty artwork and all the effort that has gone into these glorious publications rather than staring at me. That's a win-win all round, isn't it? Come on, let's face it. So this is the second one. I did one on Doctors and Daleks recently. This one I have had no involvement in whatsoever, so I can say whatever I like. Not that I edited myself for the previous one anyway, but this one I had no involvement with, but it is from a company that I particularly like. So maybe a little bit biased here. So this time I'm going to have a quick look at Free League's Walking Dead Universe RPG. Both the main rulebook and the lovely boxed starter set. Look at that. That's a nice cover. I know. It's kind of epic. Okay, so first of all, the main rulebook. So people who are familiar with Free League's books will, first thing you'll probably notice is that it's not as thick. It is certainly about, I'd say, about 2/3 of the size of Alien, and about the same again from when it comes to things like Things from the Flood or Tales from the Loop, which is one of my faves. I love Tales from the Loop. So yeah, it's not quite as thick, but let's see what's in there. So there we go. I must admit, when they first announced this and showed off the artwork for it, I thought, oh no, I'm not entirely sure. And the more I look at the artwork in this, the more I think it's absolutely flipping perfect. That's really, really cool. So, map of Georgia. I think there's had dust on me. No. And yeah, it's in the back as well, which is very reminiscent of Tales from the Loop. And so here we go. Nice introduction, nice and clean. So breaks it down into what the chapters are, which is introduction, the world, player characters, skills and talents, combat, your haven, how to run the game, Atlanta, which is kind of like where you'd expect to host it, a scenario, some bad guys, and solo play, which I haven't really looked at before. So, oh, that's iconic, isn't it? That's kind of first season. Okay, disclaimer coming up here. I was a massive Walking Dead fan. Really, really, really into it in a big way. I read the comics, bought the big hardcover collections, watched the TV series avidly, and then they killed Glenn. Yeah, bit of a moment's silence there. I was absolutely gutted when they killed Glenn, both in the comic and in the TV series. When it came to the comic, I must admit, I think I stopped reading it after that. And when it came to the TV series, yeah, wasn't going to happen. Gave up at the end of Glenn. And then they announced this RPG. And it kind of inspired me to go back to it. So, after the complete horrific, oh god, that episode with Glenn, after that, I kind of went back to it cautiously and got back into it again. Finished Walking Dead. We did Fear the Walking Dead. Haven't seen the last series of that yet. and one with the kids, and we've done the little web series things, and yeah, still right back into it again. Really good. Anyway, back to the book. So, introductory chapter, the usual, what's in the book, what's role-playing, what a game master is, safety tools, because with this subject like this, you kind of need it, really. So the player characters, playing the game, basic introduction. Principles of it are, you need to survive, you're going to die, you're never safe, there's always a walker or somebody else around, or somebody who might help. You're telling a story, and fiction comes first. It's quite an interesting take on that one, and it's good. I like it. Okay, so an introduction to the world of the dead. But as you can tell, what happened? Even they don't know. Nobody's going to tell you. So you decide on, as walkers, where you're going to set the game. People, and then we get straight into creating your player character, which much like other Free League games, you start with an archetype. Everybody has an issue, which is something problematic or challenging about them. They have something that keeps them going, a drive, and then they have attributes and skills and talents. Talents, yes. The attributes are very similar to other Year Zero engine games, so strength, agility, wits, empathy. And skills, close combat, endure, force, mobility, range combat, stealth, scout, survival, tech, leadership, manipulation, and medicine. You also have things like stress, and you have anchors, which help you relieve any stress, which is very like the Tales from the Loop bit where you used to go back to your go and see your mum, basically, or you go and see your gran, or a location that you really like your clubhouse or something like that. So you've got a bit about gear, XP, and then quite an important bit, I should imagine, for Walking Dead is relationships, because a lot of the series is about how people interact with each other. It's not so much surviving the zombies, it's surviving the people that are around you. So we've got some charts for NPC survivors and to determine which group of survivors you start the game with, which is cool. And what your starting haven is, whether it's a little bus or whether you have a villa. And here are the archetypes. So as you can see, when you pick your archetype, you have a choice of some issues, drive, you can roll a dice to see what gear they get, and they have a relationship to another character. So, got criminals, the doctor, though not the doctor, because that would be weird. Although, crossover, Doctor Who, Walking Dead crossover would be an interesting one. Although, I'm sure they'd probably turn up, TARDIS, find a cure, create it, save the world, disappear off in the TARDIS again. Farmer, although farming with that shotgun is not normal. Homemaker, again, making a home with an archery set like that, not normal, but you know, times have changed. Kid, because there's always a good kid character in Free League games, really good. Which is weird because I've had people try and play kid characters in some of my games in the past and it hasn't worked, but it's usually because they've played them as awkward and obnoxious as possible. And it really didn't work for playing Cult, let's put it that way. Law Enforcer, the Nobody, although possibly there may be a Nobody because they tuck their trousers into their socks. I suppose it, yeah, I don't know. Outcast, Politician. Jesus, do you think politicians actually look like that? It's a scary thought. Whew. Preacher, scientist, doing science with a sledgehammer, and soldiers. That's really cool, pig. I like that. That's awesome. So, section on skills and talents, how tests work, making push rolls, getting stress dice, and getting bitten in the face. What happens when you mess up? That's one way of putting it. And skill list. Cool. I think the skills are basically the same. As you know, I really haven't had a look through this properly yet. So this is all new and exciting to me. This is really just a good flick through so you can have a look and see what you're getting yourself into. So it looks like each of the archetypes have got a choice of talents, which is cool. Stubborn for the kid. Oh yeah, definitely. And technobabble for the scientist. Awesome, I love a bit of technobabble in there, as you probably will have guessed from Doctor Who. And things are not looking good for that guy. And there's some general talents as well, so you can have your animal companion, so you can get your dog. This is what the important thing, got to have a dog. All you need is a dog and a motorcycle and a crossbow. Or a stick with pointy bits on each end like that. That's good. You even have a talent for keeping walkers chained up and that walk alongside you. Good like Michonne. Oh, cool. Okay, so there's a section on combat and healing. As you could probably imagine, this is going to get nasty. So there's, from what I can tell, and you can tell me if I'm wrong, combat is split into duels, which is fighting against a living opponent. It's kind of like an opposed test as normal. And then there's brawls when there's several people involved, which breaks it down into combat rounds and actions and getting messy. But this is really for just person on person, because there's a lot of that in Walking Dead, let's face it. Most of the time you're not really worrying about the zombies, you're worrying about the other survivors. So, and then we got onto the damage and healing stuff, and critical injuries chart, which looks very along the same lines as Alien, where you roll the thing and it's, oh, yeah, instant death. Oh no. Although, when we were playing Alien, I think all of us seemed to have lost an arm by the end of it. How to remove the stress, explosions, poisons, fire, disease, getting hungry. And then there's stuff about guns. Vehicles, not that you're going to get many except that good old motorcycle. Just talking of vehicles, let's have a look. Vehicles. As long as there's horses, that's all that matters. It's nice horses. And then there's a section on fighting the dead. I must admit, I just started that on a new page because that's going to be a very important thing. Fighting the dead is handled completely separately, and it's all to do with how many of them are around. From 5 up to over 1,000. let's face it, if there's over 1,000, might as well start rolling a new character. So there's a threat level, and we'll look at that in the starter set. I think there's something to do with the threat levels in the starter set. And then there is random tables. Managed to fight them off, but you were shot in the head by somebody else. Oh no, that wasn't good. That wasn't a good roll. You jump and get away from them, but they bit you. Well, they didn't on that one anyway. It's possibly a small scratch, but the infection will take root and you'll die within... Oh god, that's really grim. It's not good. It's not good, let's face it. It's this... When they said that your characters weren't going to survive, they weren't kidding. So there's rules for, cutting limbs off, just in case. And fighting swarms. Oh god, that's a really good pick, actually. Really does look like them. That's nice. Okay. So this is all about setting up your haven and capacity, defences it's got, what happens when it overruns, when there's too many people in there, and you've got food capacities, and then some more example ones like the schoolhouse or a shopping mall. Oh, I've got to have a shopping mall, that'd be great. You could play Dawn of the Dead. And then a bit like Mutant Year Zero, you've got your haven, and so you go out and scavenge for stuff like food, fuel, equipment, medicine. A bit more running the game, some of the core concepts. The NPC factions. Because let's face it, you're bound to run into other evils like biker gangs, or who are this lot? The Black Hearts, Freegans and punk rockers. Metal. They sound great. Although there's another lot called Sugar Hill. Are they like the Sugar Hill gang? I don't think they are the Sugar Hill gang. That would be funny. Okay. So what happens? Other locations, swarms. Let's do scenes, challenges. Oh, weather effects. People always forget weather in games. That's always good. I like that. Oh, a bit about ruins as well. I remember the old Indiana Jones game with its random ruins tables. They were great. One of these days I'll do an unboxing video of my old Indiana Jones RPG. Oh, there's all these NPCs. I can never come up with people on the fly. This is really useful. Animals. Horse. No, not horse. These are bad animals. Okay. Using NPCs from the TV franchise. Because let's face it, everybody wants Daryl to turn up and save them. So you've got your campaign set up for Atlanta. And there's the locations on the map, which I won't leave it on there for too long, just in case it spoils things. Challenges and an adventure, which I won't leave up for too long, just in case I spoil stuff. Some more random locations, more NPCs and scavenging stuff, and if you can roll randomly and pick up a chocolate Santa and a thermos with cold mulled wine. How very seasonal. And then the back section is for solo play. They have progress clocks. Interesting. A little bit of a nod to Blaze in the Dark there. And relationship charts, which I always remember Smallville was one of the ones that really did that for me for the first time. Probably appeared elsewhere before. Maybe. I'm not sure. But yeah, Smallville was where it really stood out for me. Nolan. No. Okay. And then more about that. And there's the character sheets, challenge sheet, and your index. So yeah, now all in all, that is how many pages? How many pages is that? I don't know. 168, 172. So yeah, it's not huge. It's nice. Sorry, I shouldn't stroke it and make purring noises, but yeah, good old book, that one. On to section 2, which is the starter set. I must admit, I backed this on Kickstarter and got the two together. So this is a big old box, and when I say this is a big old box, I have opened this before, but you'll notice that it is a big old box with a lot of space in it, which is a bit strange. But here we go. So you've got a load of black dice with targets on the 6s, and a load of red dice with targets on the 6s. Have these got little hands on the ones? No, they don't have little hands on the ones, but these have hands on the ones because this is where bad things happen. Stress dice? Stress dice, yes. And you've got a threat meter, which you have to put together yourself, but it allows you to keep track. And I love the way that the fingers line up every time you turn it. Isn't that really cool? And yeah, so that's groovy. So you can keep track of the stress levels in the area, and that's where that came from, I think, if I remember rightly. There's a little catalogue for other Free League games like Blade Runner. Whoa, look at that, lovely. Dragonbane, Gotta Play a Duck. Anyway, but that's not what you're interested in. You want to see what's in here. So in here we have. So there was an art print that came because I backed it on Kickstarter within the first day because I'm a sad Free League fanboy. So there is a scenario in here, which is the Wolves' Den, which I won't flick too heavily on, which is a 16-page scenario with some nice pretty pictures for NPCs and some maps, and yeah, that's groovy. Oh, they're quite nice. Nice illustrations again. But yeah, only 16 pages though. And then there is the rules to get you started, which, as I should imagine, is about the same as the other one, but doesn't include character creation, which is usually the way these things work for starters. So fairly similar to the previous one, to the main rule book. Bite in the face again, and yeah, to get you started, like a simplified but explain everything, how to run the game. Not quite as many charts and tables because you don't really need all that random stuff, because you've got a little adventure to run. And it also comes with a map. Southwest Virginia. Take me home country roads, and northeast Georgia. Cool, cool, cool. And then I think we have some pre-gen characters. Character one, which is Cecil or Cecilia Hart, Ali or Isaac Ibrahim, Blossom or Solomon Singh, and Terry Lee, and Bonnie or Rooster Coates, and Lisa Harley, who is an NPC. And because of the wonders of Kickstarter, there were some pre-genned characters from the series as well, including Carol, Glenn, oh bless him, poor Glenn, he was my favourite character, Michonne, real. And then there's some Maps to the Adventure as well, which I will not show off because I don't want to spoil it for anybody who is going to play it and doesn't own it or isn't going to GM it. So there we go. That is everything that is in the starter set. As I said, it is a big old box and possibly could have been about a centimetre thinner to take up less of my bookshelf. But that is everything that is in Walking Dead. It's very, very nice. I don't know if I'm ever going to get a chance to play it. It's all a bit grim, and I don't think you're expected to survive very long. A bit like Alien. But that's it. So that's my second unboxing. I hope it helped. I know I'm not really going into great detail about how the rules work or anything like that because I'm not a reviewer. I'm just opening the box so you can see what you're getting. Have a look on the actual pages and see whether it's something that you think might appeal to you, and go for it if you want it. So there we go. I might do some more of these if I buy anything. Not that I buy a lot because, you know, I'm skint. Or I might do some old unboxing of some of the older games that I've got on my shelves, like that old Indiana Jones game. That'd be funny. I think I've still got character sheets in there from like mid-80s. Okay, until next time, stay safe, stay multi-classy.